Okay, so the purpose of this video is to show you how to fix your FoodSaver vacuum if it is not sealing properly. I was having trouble with my FoodSaver vacuum. It was not sealing the bags. I would seal the same darn bag 5 times in a row, and it would not seal. Okay, so disclaimer, I am not an expert with law or anything, so to be as safe as I can be, I figured to put a disclaimer here and say, do not actually try to do this yourself. I will show you me doing it, but don't actually do this yourself. Okay, anyway, so you'll see that this video is actually like 20 minutes long or something. All you need to know, okay, it's 20 minutes long because I am, after this, going to show you kind of like multiple things I did when I was troubleshooting the problem, but really, in the end, all I had to do was realize that this is where the thermal contact is, on the bottom here. Okay, on the bottom here, there's 6 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know it looks like there are screws here and there, but there is not. And you can see that for yourself. So yeah, unscrew those, pop this off. I needed to use a butter knife to, pop around this. And then you'll see there's, within this, there's like a few screws. You'll see it later. And all you really need to do is undo a few screws, pry this out with a knife, and then be careful. Yeah, well, don't actually do it, but if you were to, it is as simple as that. But you'll see in the video, I take it all the way apart and complain and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I don't know, I included the rest of the video because I think this is interesting, and I kind of like the DIY stuff, so I'll show you the whole process that I did start to finish, including the stuff that did not work. Like, at first I thought this was the problem, and this is where the heat source was, but it was not. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed. Don't try this at home. So anyway, I decided to try to fix it on my own and figured, well, hey, since I'm doing it, I may as well take a video of it. So I looked for possible sources of the problem. Made sure this was all clean and everything, and of course, I got to looking at where that thermal contact must be, where it contacts the plastic. So this rubber thing, anyway, it had some gunk in it. So whatever you can do to clean that out. And then, yeah, so it looks like there might be some trouble here with these thermal contacts. So I'm gonna unscrew it and see what happens. Okay, so I took off the metal thing, and again, I'm not sure if this is the problem, but you can see, if energy is being used to heat up this gunk here, then the energy is not being used to heat up the plastic. So that might be a thing. What do we have here? This looks pretty clean. I know the video quality is not the best, and you might point to that and say, well, that looks dirty, but that all really does not seem to be anywhere near where the thermal contacts would be. These, you can see it there. These are just springs, and these are the screw holes. So the next thing I'm going to try is to clean off the gunk from the metal that I see here, and then if that does not work, I will have to see if there are any other screws that I can unscrew. Okay, so I just finished cleaning the bar, and then I noticed a couple things since I last paused the video. You see here, there's definitely 2 springs. Spring 1, spring 2, and then this is where the other 2 springs were. But I noticed these things actually pop out pretty easy. They pop out, and they are actually different colors and different material and different thickness. So I do not have the materials to experiment with this. Not sure, maybe Maybe something that is a better conductor. Maybe something that has more mass would be better. Maybe you want less mass, you know, blah, 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 whatever. If you want to play around with that, that's fine. And okay, so the other thing I noticed, okay, this thing, I put this in the, but anyway, yeah, so the other thing I noticed is that you can screw the screws in very tight, okay, and so the bar goes further in, right? Or you could kind of just barely screw them in, so the bar goes kind of out. So I'm going to play around with that, and then if I do get this to work, I will let you know what I did to get it to work, whether further in was better or further out was better. Okay, so I played around with these screws, tightened, loosened, did not work. And also, I realized, this probably should have been easy to realize first, but this strip down here, it's hard to see on the camera, but if you own this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This strip down here is where the heat is coming from. Okay, furthermore, on my last test, I just, you know, had this bag in and I like, you know, closed it and pressed the seal button, you know, like 5 different times, okay? And when I opened it, I noticed this kind of darker liquid, right? Which is not from this bag. Like, I did have a few successful bags of these. You can see my monster freezer full of all this food that was on sale. Save some money there. But anyway, yeah, so I think the problem is lurking deeper. So I'm going to try something like this and let you know what I find out. Okay, a couple things before I move on to the next step. So I looked around the thing. By the way, I mean, I unplugged it, you know, anytime I was working on it. Maybe I should have put that at the start of the video, but, I mean, come on. I need to assume you guys know to unplug electronics when you're working on them. So yeah, the next step, you know, I looked around and I figured the next step would be unscrew these screws. So there were 6 total. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and then the other thing I wanted to point out is that, yeah, I am starting to smell something strange. It almost seems like, you know, if there was any liquid, it would somehow seep its way in here. And yeah, I don't know. You might want to think of a better way to do this. I can't think of a better way to do this because if there is gunk in here and I take this out, you know, it seems like it could fall to all this stuff. But oh well. Anyway, I will let you know what I find out. Okay, so, well, I've already started on this. This is what I saw when I opened it up. Except for I have taken off this tube piece. So this piece connects to here. This piece connects down here. Let's see if I can actually help you to see that. And then there's some, like, clips in here to kind of hold that in place. But anyway. So I'm like looking through this vacuum tube, seeing if it's like dirty, you know. Okay, you can't see it at all in this video, but you know, look through it. Is it dirty? Whatever. Is there anything you can do? I'm not going to actually show me cleaning it, you know, whatever. You can figure out whatever kind of scrub brush you have. I actually don't have one of those tube cleaning scrub brushes, but anyway, so that's a thing, right? What are some other things I see? Okay. I look closer and I see that this, right, this screw, you can probably see the spring at this point. Right? Oh, by the way, yeah, so when I was taking this bottom piece off, I had to, after unscrewing, I kind of had to pry the thing off. Okay. So it almost looks like this point here is adjustable. And, you know, since this is actually connected to the actual bottom part, right, that has the actual heat source, maybe that's where you tune. You know, I can almost imagine if I tighten this and press it tighter, it's going to provide more heat. But other than that, I'm going to have to pause the video now, do some stuff, and then let you know what I figured out. Okay, yeah, so I pretty much had to take it all apart. And, you know, in the end, this is the god-awful, disgusting thing that was happening. You can see this is definitely where the heat source is, and all that heat is getting pumped into that god-awful looking gunk. So yeah, I took it, you know, I don't know, I wish I could explain to you each of the things that these little components did. The one thing I'm worried about is there is this thing here kind of glued in there, and what that is this part. Okay, so see this thing in the little plastic tube? It's kind of hard to see. Oh, you can see it now. I don't know what that electrical component is. If it's some sort of like thermistor, right? Some sort of thermally dependent resistor. And it plugs into here. It plugs into here. And now, I don't know. Let me see if I can actually show you guys this. I'm assuming that it's, you know, a temperature dependent thing. Like once the temperature reaches a certain value, okay, the circuit needs to know how to shut off. So this, okay. So this thing is connected here. I have zero experience with printed circuit board design, so if anybody, there's probably a 0% chance that anybody would be able to post and tell me what this is, because if you have enough experience with PCBs, you're probably not watching this video, you're probably laughing at me. Okay, so alright, so one other thing I want to point out that I'm not so sure about is this. You see this plastic star here on the bottom of this PCB? Oh, it didn't turn. Okay, anyway, this plastic thing is right below this thing, right? And this thing actually turns, or doesn't. Oh, this, okay, so keep your eye on this reddish orangish thing. Okay, see how I actually got that? I am wondering if that somehow controls something. Say, maybe if it's a maximum temperature thing, it controls the maximum allowed temperature, or maybe if it's just a timed thing, it's the time temperature. Actually, let's read this. Okay. T85, okay, 20 milliamp, 250. American outlets are 120 volts. I mean, European outlets are maybe 240, I don't know. This is a Legung 7. So, let's see. Oh, shit. Okay. Son of a bitch. 55 kilopascals. Oh, this is the vacuum. Yeah, okay, yeah, this thing connected to that part. And I don't remember that it connected there because it kind of just popped out. Okay. Alright, so that has something to do with the vacuum. So that is of no concern to our heating issue. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know, whatever. There's no way the timing mechanism here is an RC time constant. It's nowhere near as simple as that. Is this even just a straight up capacitor? Probably not. It's probably something 180 microfarads, 200 volts. So yeah, this is some big old capacitor. There's the transformer. I don't know. Probably it's just the fact that there is this massive amount of gunk here, and all the heat is just being dumped into that gunk and not heating up the plastic. Okay, I finally put it all back together. Yeah, so it worked okay. Please, if any of you else are interested in this and know more than me, find out more than me, please leave a comment. I think all this stuff is really interesting. I do think it's really interesting how they fit a flipping vacuum, you know, into something so small, you know, and then, you know, that, yeah, I think it's actually pretty sweet. Okay, bye-bye.